Hello, esteemed guests. Welcome. My name is Parker Brisebois, Parker Thomas Brisebois, first of his name. And once more, you are watching the Iridescent. Little bit of update with the show and my life as it's happening in real time. I no longer have a mysterious off-screen associate to help me make this for you, which is very sad, but I'm sure he'll return sometime in the near future. That's the reason he's gone is because I have fled the Southlands. The burning heat of the South was too much for me, as you could probably gather, granted how much I talked about the sweat I was having all over my body in the last couple episodes. So you'll be relieved to hear I won't be complaining about that as much because I'm back up here in Tacoma. That's right, the City of Destiny. Look it up. That's what it's actually called. But we won't go into that today. That's a history lesson for another period. Anyways, as you're probably gathering at this point, I'm a connoisseur of certain visual arts. Like to look into messaging. Ambiguity interests me, and that's why I like abstract shit, like that Picasso painting, which will be sorely missed. But today I have for you something of my own creation. Isn't she lovely? The way she stands there on my bed like that. That's the prettiest thing I've ever had stand on my bed. It is a Dutch pour, which is something a extremely artistically talented friend of mine taught me how to do a few weeks ago. Took a long time to dry, but now she's good and dry, and she's beautiful. She turned out more immaculate than I could possibly imagine. Call her Cosmic Hangover. And she was born with some base colors and a blow dryer. No brush needed. And the other thing, if it's in the shot here, is my window tapestry, which is always there because it does the light good in this room. I was recently reached out to by my old boss. I say old boss because I finally made the decision not to go back to the fucking rat race. Highly recommend it. Although I'll give you a review in a couple months once my unemployment benefits stop coming in. In classic American industry fashion, he led with kind of a robo check-in, you know? Hello, I am being instructed to wish that you are well, and it is good that you are, if you are or not. We potentially have an opportunity for you to come back and do bitch work for us. Pay cut, naturally. Less interesting, if that's even possible, work than I was already doing. And the third thing was he was following up that, hey, yeah, you're going to lose your health insurance if you don't take this job. So how's that for good old 21st century American labor strong-arming by the man. So, yeah, I'm going to rough it without health insurance in the age of the pandemic. And dedicate more time to this, which is what I have way more fun doing. I'd rather create videos with my face and my voice and stuff like beautiful Cosmic Hangover here. So, yeah, anyways, I hope that none of you are dealing with a similar bind, although I find that extremely unlikely given the circumstance, what with the economy and all. So, yeah, anyways, some stuff that I read in the last couple days, stuff that's been on my mind. Seen on social media people talking about the Black Lives Matter movement losing momentum or losing steam, losing visibility, whatever you want to call it. First of all, that's not true. The fight is still very much going on. There's been actions in every city I've heard of every single day since George Floyd was murdered by Derek Chauvin. But I think some of the truth being decried here is regrettably that it is losing a little bit of visibility. I kind of made light of the whole black screen profile pictures a couple episodes ago. But that at least that was highly visible. You saw a lot of people doing that. And I know members of the movement had a little bit of it wasn't unanimously agreed upon that was an effective way to show solidarity and fight the fight. But I think it's evident now that most people have switched their profiles back to them, fucking duck facing or cheersing or looking out over some melodramatic nature scene. That the movement has lost at least that platform. Less people are talking about it. So I think it's really important that we continue to have conversations about it all the time. All the time. Because people are dying. Black people in the United States are dying. They are being killed by cops. That is me having this conversation with you in a staccato tone. It's very annoying, but it's very uncomfortable, but it's a reality we all live in, we all share, and one we should be really, really invested in changing in whatever way we can. Protests, going physically to protest is a little dangerous right now, but it's one way to do it. The other way to do it is use whatever platform you can. And I'm gonna continue to ping that in the Iridescent here, because that's one of the movements we very much unambiguously support is Black Lives Matter. I personally do not like cops. ACAB. I'll say it again. ACAB. I just saw a stat presented to me via Seth Meyers, which is one of the most palatable ways for me to consume news is through comedy, which I think is probably true for a lot of people. And he said that he cited the Daily News in response to some outrageous bullshit that the fucking pumpkin Nazi in the White House said about how white people are getting shot too. I mean, by the numbers alone, black men are twice as likely to be shot by a cop than a white man. So if you're hearing any of that argument, just go find that Seth Meyers video. It was he cited the Daily News. I mean, just literally, you just fucking dip your toe into Google on the subject, and you're going to get blasted with that data. It is not hard to find. And it's a credible source, too. It's not a fucking Q drop, It's not 8chan or fucking off-brand Pornhub where you get these statistics. You find this shit on, very credible sourced websites, among others. Yeah. So anyways, Black Lives Matter. Keep telling people that. Keep fighting the fight. Make sure the movement retains visibility until there's serious reform being done in police departments across the country. Bringing me to an Onion article that I thought was fucking hilarious. If you've seen my last episode, I'm a big fan of The Onion, and you should go check out their website if you haven't already. And the headline reads, "Every member of police department excitedly volunteers to go undercover in a white supremacist group." I thought this was right on the money. I really did. Yeah, because cops be that way. Or at least a lot of them do. And, before fucking white right-wing bros cancel me, and frankly, I don't fucking care if those people cancel me. Hear me out. I know it's not all cops are straight up Nazis. Not all cops are white. One of the cops complicit in murdering, not just complicit, but facilitated the murder of George Floyd, was not a white guy. But a common thread among cops and law enforcement is, in order to find interest or passion in that position, I firmly believe that you have to experience intrinsically some combination of desire to have authority over other people and fetishizing military culture. Whether that be firearms or just the rank and file of the fucking uniform, So you get a lot of military rejects, you get a lot of authoritarian bent people. We don't have super high standards to get into beat cop positions in the United States, and beat cops have guns. All of them have guns. That shit is standard issue. Ridiculously so. But, and I mean, what do they exist to do? The cops exist to enforce laws in the United States. And the United States has a well-documented history of extremely racist laws. Racism is systemic. It's codified here. Look at redlining. Look at just the rates at which black men are confronted by cops for fucking jaywalking. At one point it was illegal for a black man to drink out of the same water fountain as a white person. That was a law. And for a country that has a history of laws like that, the legacy of which is going to be people who enforce laws of that same country with a racist bent. The laws used to be racist and still are, and the people who enforce them are people who used to enforce racist laws and still do. Now, there's common sense stuff that keeps us out of the jungle, like don't murder and shit, but, crimes like that, premeditated murder, anyways, they're just not as common. So, all I'm saying, cost-benefit analysis, I think cops as they exist right now, just no bueno. No bueno. Not good. It's not good. Defund the police, ACAB. Anyways, following up on another thing, the Redskins decided to change their name. Hooray! Victory for defeating racism at the rhetoric level, which is where it starts. Racism starts with rhetoric. And if we normalize using racist team names, then we're going to normalize racism eventually. And manifestly, it's all over the place. As to what they're going to rename the team, that is still unknown. I've seen some fucking stupid fucking names like the Lincolns or the Americans or the President. I guess like those sort of fall in line with the other teams in Washington, but fuck, man, like, do we need any more fucking Uncle Sam fucking ass kissing? Do we need any of that? We already got the Patriots. Fucking team names like that. I don't know. I think they should just take it in a completely different direction. But one of the obstacles to that is I read about this guy who's made a hobby out of, I guess, I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently hobby trademarking, hobby copywriting, whatever it is a thing. And this dude just like bought the rights to like the top 15 most likely names over the last couple of years, because this has been brewing for a long time. People have been talking about changing the Redskins name for a while now. I mean, at least a decade. So this guy saw the writing on the wall and decided to, keep his ear to the ground, listen to all the good ideas they have, and then just trademark them as they came out in hopes of making a buck. And shit, he's probably going to cash out for that. Talk about I don't know, self-interested for sure, but that's a clever way to sort of subvert, more standard ways of getting money in capitalist America. So props to him. I hope they pick a good name. I really hope they don't do the fucking Presidents. Jesus Christ. Imagine if that rebrand goes down before November 3rd of this year. Because then the team will effectively be named after... no matter when it happens, it'll be a team named after a position that Donald fucking Trump once was. Yeah. And even if it isn't the American or the presidents and something silly like the Americans, that's just embarrassing. We're embarrassing right now. We are an embarrassing country in 2020, and it would be an embarrassing team name, especially considering the United States is the only fucking place we play football. It's fucking masturbatory. It's gross, cringy. I'm one big cringe. Also, that's not true. They play football in Canada too, but it's different by a little bit. It's wacky and weird. Football, man. Football's a trip. Used to play it, loved it, but as an industry, I don't think it's all that wholesome. But anyways, that's going in too deep. Another thing I read, actually, before we leave football completely, SB Nation reports that a bombshell's on the way coming out of the Redskins organization. So some shit will continue to hit the fan with that, unrelated to the team name change. But apparently that org's just got a really toxic culture, and some shit's gonna come out. Something along the lines, it could have something to do with like mistreatment of the cheerleaders. The New York Times dropped in 2018 that at one point the Redskins organization used the cheerleaders as like personal escorts at some offshore retreat for like top donors and executives in that organization. So fucking gross. Fucking gross. I mean, wherever money gets sort of unduly concentrated, you're going to see gross shit happening, like gross abuses happening. And the National Football League is a prime example of that. Because there's a lot of money in football, and football doesn't give us vaccines. It doesn't solve energy crises. It doesn't make us healthier or happier in a sustainable way. You know, maybe your team wins and you're happy for the weekend, but it's not going to, resolve any wars, because we don't fight wars with anybody who plays football. Anyways, let's move on to happier stuff. My mysterious off-screen associate has been texting me this whole time. Missed that guy. He sends me some headlines. I asked him to send me some shit that's not depressing, because I tend to find the more morbid stuff, That's just how Parker rolls. Mary Trump's book sells 950,000 copies in one day. Holy shit. That's almost 1 million in one day. Wow. That's wild. I guess Mary Trump's a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something, which is cool. Very cool. I'm kind of interested in that field myself, but her take, like, how perfect is that? Because since this oaf got elected, we've all been speculating that there's a couple screws loose in some of the most critical departments for a functioning, empathetic, capable, reasonable, responsible, acceptable human being. Anyways, he's fucked in the head. And Mary Trump is somebody who diagnoses how fucked people are in the head, so that's crazy. But on the other hand, we all knew that. We all knew the dude was fucked. So, this is just another tell-all. I'm kind of ho-hum on it. I'm probably not going to get it myself. I didn't read the Bolden book. Actually, I didn't read any of the tell-alls, because, I don't know. I know what I need to know about this guy, and I think most people on the correct side of history, in the now, know what there is to know about the character of this fucking ape, this fucking human garbage sausage. So, anyways, that was uplifting. Thanks, Ross, for the somehow I made that bummy. But anyways, here's another one. Overwatch, Blizzard's MOBA shooter, really cool game. Overwatch, if you haven't heard of it, it's a character-based shooter. That's what it is. They have a character called McCree, who's like a robo-cowboy. Kind of robo-cowboy. And in that game, you can tag walls and stuff with sprays. Apparently he had a noose spray, and they took that out. Nice. Good shit. See? That's easy. I mean, I guess McCree's noose spray isn't a cultural fixture that anybody cares about, so who's going to get pissed about that? Although I'm sure you're going to find some people on the right pissed about that if they play Overwatch or something. I don't know. I mean, it's got an internet gaming community, so there's probably some weirdos there, but they don't believe any of that shit earnestly. They're just really cruel trolls. But yeah, no, good for Blizzard. Good for Blizzard. That's an easy one to make. It's an easy right call to make, and they just made it. No hesitation. That's awesome. We need more of that. Blizzard does legit work, and there are other companies with media presences that could really benefit from following that example. Because like I said earlier, and I firmly believe this, you're going to hear me say it a lot, racism starts with rhetoric. So, good Good job, Overwatch. Maybe I'll give McCree a play. I never play McCree because he's a damage character and I can't do that shit. I'm too gumpy. I'm a support player only. And I'm old, so I'm losing the like fine motor skills that like 16-year-olds have for shooters. Okay, let's see. First round of COVID vaccines are working. Dope. I wish he sent me the link for that, but that's fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing, especially considering we need vaccines for COVID, because from what I've heard from a roommate who sells houses, who is in the works with working for somebody trying to buy a house who's in the military that has a biochemistry background. Didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is, which makes sense to some degree because the military is so fucking wildly overfunded. Of course they're going to have people with all kinds of backgrounds in there, because where else would all that money go? It's got to go everywhere. But anyways, apparently COVID isn't a disease that we're easily going to gain herd immunity to, because the COVID antibodies don't linger in our system forever like, say, chickenpox ones do. It goes away after a couple months. So what that means is we need a fucking vaccine, because it's similar to the common cold. You never heard of anybody who got the common cold once and then never got it again, did you? Right. Because that type of antibody doesn't exist for the common cold, which is a type of coronavirus, cousin of COVID-19. But that's awesome to hear that the first round is working. Dope. I think that's Moderna. Don't quote me on that. But for my investor viewers out there, maybe try to buy now. I know I just did. I sold all my shares in the first vaccine developer that I found because they're not Moderna. And I think Moderna's the one. So anyways, I sold that and bought in Moderna. Hopefully it works out, but it probably won't. Investing is a gamble, and fucking stocks don't actually benefit the world anyway. It's more like gambling, which is fun, but I'm not super good at. Anyways, well, thank you for joining me. Seriously, thank you for joining me so much on my first solo adventure. I really hope you enjoyed the show, enjoyed listening to me talk about stuff. Please hit me with feedback. I really want to know. This show is evolving constantly, and I need your help. I'm going to start doing interviews with people who I think are really interesting and are going to make the show better. And I'm really invested in making this a community effort. So thank you again for the support, and let me know what you liked, hated, want to see more of, want to see less of, whether you want to buy this. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on The Iridescent. Smash that like button, subscribe the fuck out of me, and we will see you next time. Peace!